top 10 longest living animals in the world. If you think your toothless grandpa is old, wait till you meet some of the animals on our planet that can outlive you and sometimes your grandkids. Coming up, we have the top 10 longest living animals in the world. From birds to mollusks and mammals to fish, we've been able to compile a list of death-defying creatures, especially number 1. This thing is dubbed as the Benjamin Button of the sea because of its fascinating life cycle and longevity. So stay tuned till the end to find out what it is. Okay, let's begin. Number 10. On the 10th spot is a feathery creature you can find in Australia and in the islands of Papua New Guinea and Indonesia. The cockatoo has 21 different species with an average lifespan of 50 to 70 years. If you want one as a pet, you are most likely making a lifetime commitment like bringing up a child or getting married. Being social animals, they demand a great deal of time and affection from their owners. Cockatoos are very affectionate birds. Giving them less attention can cause depression. They even exhibit neurotic behaviors. Umbrella cockatoos can live 80 years or more if they don't get sick and are properly cared for. A legendary sulfur-crested cockatoo in Australia known as Cocky Bennett died in 1916 at a ripe old age of 120. A Sydney vet, Dr. Alan Rosenwach, said it was due to a viral disease called cytosine beak and feather disease. If you are keeping a cockatoo at home and you want it to live a full, happy life, make sure you give it high-quality bird food such as fruits and vegetables. Foods that are considered safe for human consumption can be harmful and even kill a cockatoo. So avoid giving them food that can cause illnesses like fruit seeds, chocolate, onions, dried beans, tomato leaves, mushrooms, raw peanuts, and olives. Oh, and before we move on to the rest of our countdown, remember to like this video, turn on notifications, and subscribe to our channel, or Bach will rise from the dead and eat your face off! Up next, we have number 9. While the longest living specimen of this species of large burrowing clam is 168 years, their average life expectancy of 146 years granted it the 9th spot. Also known as mud ducks and king clams, geoducks and gooey ducks can reach weights up to 10 pounds, with the shell ranging from 7 to 9 inches in diameter. Its most obvious feature is its odd siphon or neck that protrudes from its shell, extending up to 6 feet in length. This siphon filters the seawater and food into its deeply buried shell. Female geoducks are extremely prolific, producing as many as 5 billion eggs throughout their century-long lifespan. They have very few predators, which contributes to their longevity. In Alaska, sea otters and dogfish are some of their natural predators. Starfish sometimes attack and feed on the exposed siphon of the geoduck too. So unless they are served in fondue or as a sashimi in one of your favorite Chinese restaurants, geoducks are one of the world's longest living animals. Coming up next, we have another aquatic animal. Number 8. A freshwater giant that's greenish-gray in color and has a body like an armored torpedo, the lake sturgeon swims into the 8th spot. It is one of the 27th species of sturgeon and is also known as the rock sturgeon, the oldest and largest species to live native to North America's Great Lakes. These USA native monsters can grow up to 6 feet long and weigh 200 pounds, but a female sturgeon can grow even bigger and longer. In 2012, a female sturgeon was caught on Lake Winnebago in Wisconsin weighing 240 pounds, and get this, she was 7 feet and 3 inches long. In one spawning season, females can lay around 2 to 3 million eggs and can live until they are 150 years old. Males can only live 55 years. Due to overfishing and water pollution, the lake sturgeon has been considered an endangered species, so tighter fishing has been strictly enforced. Could you imagine hooking one of those things from a boat? That's gotta be a hell of a fight. I don't want to wade too deep in the water with these things, so let's check out number 7. One of the longest living animals in the world with an average lifespan of 125 to 150 years, the giant Aldabra tortoise moseys to the 7th spot. This reptile is a native to Aldabra Island, a group of islands in the Indian Ocean, part of Seychelles. Its main habitat is found in the grassland area called platins. Male tortoises grow larger than females, measuring up to 550 pounds and up to 4 feet in length, while females measure up to 3 feet and weigh around 350 pounds. The world's largest free-roaming tortoise ever recorded weighs 672 pounds. In the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic, there resides a 188-year-old Aldabra tortoise named Jonathan. He's been alive since 1882. Older than your grandpa, huh? He was about 50 years old when he was brought to St. Helena from Seychelles, fully grown. Apparently, he was brought as a gift to the governor of the overseas British territory, William Grey Wilson, and has lived at the governor's residence ever since. Jonathan became a local icon and much loved by the islanders and visitors. Moving on to number 6. Its spiky features are like a neon sign saying, "Don't touch me, I'm dangerous." But to some cultures, it's an exotic delicacy that usually ends up in a bowl of delicious stew. The red sea urchin waves from our sixth spot. The red sea urchin is one of 700 species of sea urchins around the world. Located primarily along the west coast of North America, it prefers rocky, shallow ocean floors. This eyeless invertebrate is able to navigate the ocean by detecting light using the spines that extend outward from its body. They also use their sharp spines as stilts to move around slowly. Red sea urchins usually live beyond 30 years, which wouldn't normally qualify for this list, but in optimal condition, specimens have been found beyond the ripe old age of 200 years old. These urchins obtain sexual maturity in 550 days, and they're considered an animal without senescence. Their cells never lose the ability to regenerate. Seems like a worthy ability to genetically alter humans with. Alas. Let's move forward to number 5. Bowhead whales, aka Arctic whales, can live over 200 years, making them the longest living mammals on Earth. That's why they've claimed the 5th spot. Dr. Benjamin Main, a molecular biologist at the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization in Canberra, wrote in the journal Scientific Reports that the oldest known bowhead reached the age of 211. According to researchers, part of what enables these animals to live for so long is that they rarely succumb to cancer and disease. Paul Nichol, a Canadian photographer and marine biologist, had to withstand hypothermia at minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit just to catch a glimpse of the world of a 50-foot bowhead through his camera. Bowhead whales are exposed to different threats and are also on the endangered species list. Before commercial exploitation, there were about 50,000 bowhead whales worldwide, but in the 1920s, commercial whaling severely reduced their numbers to less than 3,000. Since then, various conservation groups, along with regulatory management, were created and implemented, particularly in the western Arctic stock, to recover and protect the lives of bowhead whales. 200 years is a long time to live, but that's got nothing on number 1, but we'll get to that a little later. First, let's submerge deeper to visit number 4. Rarely encountered by humans because they prefer to swim in the deeper, colder part of the ocean, it's estimated that these creatures have a lifespan between 300 to 500 years. The Greenland shark snatches the 4th spot. This deep-sea dweller is a native of the North Atlantic. They have high levels of trimethylamine and oxide in their tissue, which enables them to withstand the immense pressure of the deep. Put that in a wrinkle cream. Greenland shark is a slow swimmer at less than 1.9 miles per hour, one of the reasons why they live longer. According to Sean Zhu, a geneticist at the University of Michigan, cold water helps lengthen the animals' lives by slowing down their growth and biochemical activity, while staying in the deeper, cold part of the ocean can also activate anti-aging genes that help an animal better fold protein, get rid of DNA-damaging molecules, and even fight off infections more effectively. No wonder these things live so long. What would you do with 300 to 500 years to live? Let us know in the comment sections below. Anyway, it's getting kinda chilly down here, so let's move closer to the surface and visit number 3. One of 30,000 species of bivalve mollusk that can live up to 500 years is a native of the Western Atlantic. The ocean quahog drifts to the 3rd spot. Meet Ming, the oldest quahog clam at 507 years old. It was named after the Chinese Ming Dynasty, which was in power when the clam was born in 1499. Ming's age was calculated by counting the rings on the hinge of the clam. As the clam ages, the rings pack together, kinda like a tree. The older the clam gets, the less real estate on their shell. So with Ming, there were just millimeters of space between each of the 500 rings, making it difficult to distinguish them. Upon discovering Ming from an Icelandic seabed in 2006, a group of researchers opened its shell to find out how old it was, which was unfortunately the cause of death. Why Ming? It is a calamity to die between the curious minds and murderous hands of humans. I bet it made some yummy chowder. Moving on to number 2, the glass sponge, a deep sea-dwelling species named for its intricate glass-like skeletal structure, claims our 2nd spot. Glass sponges have been determined to live for about, drumroll please, 11,000 years. That's the age of a 2-meter-long, 1-centimeter-thick glass sponge found in the East China Sea. Its age was determined by researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Chemistry in Mainz in 2012. Euplectella is the most famous species of glass sponge found in the northwestern Gulf of Mexico. It's commonly called Venus flower basket, which builds its skeleton in a form that entraps smaller species of crustacean for food. Using a telegraph cable to a depth of more than 5,000 feet off the coast of East Africa during the Valdivia expedition between 1898 to 1899, scientists discovered Monoharpus juni, a giant sponge that was 3 meters in length and thought to have first evolved over 650 million years ago. And if you thought 11,000 years is a long time to live, just wait till you hear about Number 1. This creature is truly ageless and death-defying, also known as the immortal jellyfish. The Tototopsis dohrnii constricts the top spot. Tototopsis dohrnii is a species of jellyfish that has the secret to eternal life teeming within its cells. I think we all see the balloon with tentacles when we think of a jellyfish, but that's their final stage of life, a medusa. All jellies start out as larvae, which are cigar-shaped organisms. These larvae seek out a place to colonize, and once implanted, turn into polyps. These polyps then clone themselves and take over whatever surface they planted on. Once conditions are right, they bloom, and the organism that comes forth is a medusa jellyfish. Once it reaches death, the medusa drifts to the ocean floor and starts to decay. At this point, the cells go from decay to regeneration. It simply reverts to the earlier polyp stage in its life cycle. This means that there is no limit to its lifespan and that it is impossible to verify its age since it's born from the same cells as before. It is biologically immortal. Unless they acquire a disease or are eaten by predators, Tototopsis dohrnii has the ability to switch back and forth between stages of life. Don't you wish you could be a kid again? Dr. Lisa Ann Gershwin, a jellyfish researcher based in Tasmania and director of the Marine Stinger Advisory Service, says, "It's one of the most amazing discoveries of our time." So there you have it, better believers. Top 10 longest living animals in the world. Do you know of any other creatures with super long lifespans that we should include in a video? Let us know in the comment section below. Oh, and if you thought this video was fun and interesting, check out one of these.